Alright, hello YouTube. Last time in a very scuffed episode, we managed to just about get the first of several communication satellites up. It was a bit of a pain in the backside because we couldn't actually send them orders for most of their flight because the moment they got to higher altitude, they lost signal. We only got one up, and we'll probably try and launch three and triangulate them at some point, but for now we're going to see what contracts are available. We're still trying to make money to level up the space center so we can get the what do you call it? So we can get the automated docking upgrade, so we can dock automatically with MechJeb. See what we've got that could make us some money. We've got one to get science data from around the moon. We've got a flag on the moon, so we could do a moon landing. We could also send something out somewhere new, which could have some money, although we'd have to also come back, given we've had satellite problems. Or we could do some tourist missions, in fact. That might not be a bad idea. Another space camp, but I believe our crew capacity is actually nearly full. What I might do... What's the best tourist one? Oh, that's interesting. They just want to go above the South Pole, huh? That would be doable. We'll do that one. So what's to bring... 3 tourists high above the South Pole. Let's give it a go. This will require a slightly unusual rocket because we need 3 people's worth of space, but we're probably also going to need a pilot, unless we don't, in which case we might... probably best not to AI it. I think we're going to need a pilot on this one. So far, our pilots have proven much more reliable than our satellites at any rate. So our connection to our radar signal connection to the KSC is a bit of a problem at the moment for some of our flights. Right. Mark 3 command pod will hold 3 quite happily, but we'll need extra for a crew member. Or crew member for, yes, no, we do need extra for a crew member. We do want a pilot as well, so what I think we do is we maybe stack, although that doesn't line up quite as neatly as I'd hoped. Nereid will probably burn the other one using its slowdown system. Yeah, we'll use Proteus on top of a thing. That's a Mark 1 fits better. Oh, much better, yeah. Little white, and then I don't think we can change colour. Yeah, that matches a bit better anyway. Then we go multiple shoots, I think we're going to want on this. I think we go for a Mark 16 and we go 3 radial shoots. And we don't worry too much about actually getting a Kerbal out the top. They've got the bottom door for that. And we shouldn't need to have anyone get out the craft on this flight anyway. Go. Let's turn off the flag, because it doesn't look quite right there. Okay. This rocket, I also need to name it quickly before I build any more. I don't like to forget. The R08. What did we call our... Was it just Tourist 1 that we were on so far? Yeah, Tourist 2. Ironic, given it holds 3 people. Right. We will probably want... Actually, we'll build a bit of a command module style build on this one for the sake of I forgot where I was going with that sentence. Oh, for like things like power generation, we'll put them on this, I should say. A couplet. We might even just go for the RCS fuel tank and then pull that from that. I thought we were on... I thought we had a 2-meter RCS tank. We do. Again, we might go for the orbital maneuvering engine like we've done on the previous flight. A bit of consistency. Power, we will go... Yeah, 3 of those will do. Sink them in a little bit further, because I'd find some of the surface modules stick out a bit much. But they look a lot sleeker, just pushed in a little bit. Some people would say, oh, it's filling up tank space, but I'm like, I'm okay with a little bit. If I was really clipping heavily, I'd start to feel a bit more like, but... And then we need to put it into polar orbit, which is a bit more expensive than a normal... I think equatorial orbit is the right word, I think. How's a skipper do on that? Pretty good, but not enough thrust to weight. We're going to need a mainsail. That's good, but I'm going to need more fuel. That will probably do it. Okay, yeah, I think that'll do it. We don't actually need too much on this one. I believe that should be enough. Yeah, as I said, the rockets actually don't cost us too much at the moment. It is building upgrades that suck up a lot of your money early on, and then the later game rocket stuff is more expensive. I believe these have batteries in them. Yeah, so we've got a decent amount of electrical charge. The mission pays us about 200,000, so we should make a decent little bit back from this. We'll let Jeb pilot this one, because he's, strangely enough, one of our lesser experienced pilots. Right. Tourist 2, ready for launch. Oh, I probably should have picked a different launch site. That's probably fine. We do have to set one thing a bit different, though. We'll go for if we go for an 85-kilometer orbit, that should, just because I'm not too sure how much more fuel you need for a polar orbit, which is what we're going to want. We'll set it to an 85-kilometer orbit, so it's a bit lower and it won't need quite as much. We'll have a little bit more to adjust if we need it. And we will set it to a 90-degree inclination, and that will put us into a it's called a polar orbit, which is where rather than orbiting round and round like that satellite, you go straight over the top, and that should take us past the south, or take us over the South Pole. Gauge system, and 3, 2, 1. Tourist 2 is go. This rocket should, big should after our last mission, but this rocket should have absolutely no trouble with this mission. It is a very simple flight, and we've got some quite sort of staple parts at this point, which should be quite easy to do. Assuming we've accounted for enough parachutes, and I'm pretty sure we have. So it might be quite a quick ascent as well, which is about the sonic winds that we're generating apparently. They get quite as impressive a rocket trail in real life because it doesn't really generate that huge smoke cloud at the bottom, but it's still quite cool to look at. Looks like this mission's going to go better than some of our previous ones anyway. We might try and push a few tourist missions today maybe. So build up that budget, work towards the research centre upgrade. Once we get that to tier 3, we'll be able to research anything we want. And we'll be able to use the nearly 600 or so science we've got saved up to get that docking upgrade. We might want to make a bit more money than we need, though, because we'll also need to be able to afford to launch, the next rocket after we get access to that, especially given that we might end up doing the rendezvous mission and we might end up having to dock some stuff together. Oh, yes, hello, cat. Cat appearing on audio once more. Well, I don't know whether you can hear her from down there or not. Yes, we're launching a what do you call it? We're launching some tourists up. You don't care, do you, cat? Just jumps in the chair behind me. Right. I guess it's already 85. As I said, this should be absolute bog standard easy. Just need to get them above the South Pole now. The only thing that might go wrong now is if it doesn't goes into orbit right, but it looks like it's going to be good. I think this is going to work. Stage 2. Just to make sure. Yeah, 'cause it thinks 1600, so it'll have to stage into the last stage, but that's fine. It looks like we'll have plenty of fuel to bring it back down again somewhere. I think we could land them on the South Pole if they really wanted. You guys pack your winter clothes. So you wanted to see the South Pole? We can take you there. Yeah, you can see what I mean by polar as well. We're actually going over the 2 poles. It's very difficult to actually get it to exactly 90. It always seems to be very slightly tilted. I'm not sure whether that is or not, but it looks a tiny bit tilted to me. Oop. If I have the experiments, might as well grab whatever little bits and pieces we can while we're going. There we go, a tiny little dragon-esque space pod. So this looks a little bit like that sort of thing, actually, yeah. Or Orion, or whatever the NASA one's called, I can't remember. Oh, EVA report. Sure, why not? Can you EVA, Jim? Thought the hatch was going to be blocked, but no, he could EVA, so he might as well. Oh. Quickly, while you're actually going over a biome we can get some data from. Oh, there we go, that's something. Right, so if we now map up situation suborbital trajectory. Oh, that's interesting. Makes you want me to what? Drop out of orbit above the South Pole? I think they do, actually. Okay. We'll try and land on it then. That seems like a good way to do it to me. How quickly, if we add a maneuver to slow ourselves down there, how quickly can we slow ourselves down? Up there, huh? We're going to do a quick save, and we're going to try and take it to do that. Oh boy, it's lagging. Move the planet. Try and do that maneuver for us if you could. In theory, this will put us in a suborbital trajectory above the South Pole. I can't believe I missed that. That part of that. But anyway, yes, it looks like they are indeed going to be landing there. So again, I hope they pack their warm clothes. You guys said South Pole, you're getting South Pole. Get a good view of it, actually. Wow. So there's a screenshot for you. It's actually more erratic, I think, when we were under it. But location, the South Pole. Now they're complaining that I'm not at the waypoint. We'll see how it goes. I hope this works. Wait, it's about there by the look of it. If it doesn't, we made a quick save, we can quick load. Hey! We did it. Cool. I just finished the punt. It's fine, don't worry about that. Just went retrograde and burnt. We know what the rest of our goal is now. We just got to bring these tourists back in one piece. Make sure they've enjoyed their trip. Hope there's no such thing as Kerbal polar bear. I have no idea if there's any other wildlife lives on Kerbal. They've never showed it to us, but you never know. There's at least one other bit of wildlife out there in the in this galaxy, but again, I'm saving that for later. Might see that later. We'll try and make a trip there if we can. Still burning? I was going to say. It's interesting. Oh, I think it's because there's a bit of extra fuel in the pod that it doesn't really account for, because it's not in a fuel tank, as it were. Right. So it goes. We're re-entering at actually a very low speed. Not actually moving that fast at all for re-entry. Frame rate dies a bit when I time warp. Oh dear, so I thought I was over the cough. It's been quite good this morning, and yesterday it seems to be back a little bit. Don't turn it off yet. Abalata, I can't imagine is going to be a problem at all. Not coming in very fast. Okay, now we are. We're not kind of fast, but we're going to take. But yeah, we're already through. No problem. It's probably another one where we can set the altitude quite low on these. But the other one slows down first. That should be fine. That's the rest of the ship. This looks like it even made it through re-entry without even overheating. It's a good chunk of it. I didn't hear any explosions. Parachutes. The North Pole, South Pole is barely above sea level by the look of that altitude reading. 1,000. Okay. Expanding actually too. We've fallen faster than that still. We are somehow. I'm not quite sure how. Oh, I suppose maybe physics are loaded in for us and maybe not for that. Oh, wait, yeah, 1.3. It should be loaded in for that. I guess maybe we're heavier. I suppose we have got... Yeah, actually, we might be heavier. We've got the weight of the heat shield. We've got the weight of 2 crew pods, the crew. Whereas that's an empty fuel tank and a not particularly heavy engine. Oh, I think it only actually affected the deployment attitude of one of those chutes. Oh, well, that's fine. Oh, yeah, look. There it goes. Yeah. The moment our chutes come out, we slow down a lot. Right, and now we just got to wait for it to send to the surface. Yeah, and I hope they like the South Pole, because they might be there for a while. Gotta get those nice screenshots where we can. Just, gently descending from space. Parachute flapping in the wind. Get a surface sample actually while we're out in the South Pole. We haven't been here before. I think I've barely ever been to Kerbal poles. I think I did an aircraft landing out here once. It might have been for a contract. Alright, Jib. Surface sample. 9 science, EVA report, 2.4. I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here, was it? No, but I bet he's probably appreciating it, given it's probably cold. Given so space, this is probably actually not bad kit to be wearing for something like this. South Pole. We definitely found it first. Might as well flag where we've been. Do you have to bring all the way up to his pod? You can't go all the way up to his pod. No, you can. Okay, you can just board, and I guess he just chucks him in the empty one. Right. Recover the vessel. That went rather well overall for a rather simple setup. Let's see what we got back. Probably about 12 science and a bit of money. But that's fine. Money was what we were going for after all. So trying to make a bit of funds for the space program. Oh. Apologies, I keep fiddling with stuff on my desk while I'm recording and then knocking stuff off it. 20 science. Some funds from the command pod. A bit of XP for the tourists. And a bit of money from the contract. And a word first. EVA test at home. Oh, I see. I didn't even know that was a thing. Best flags at home. And 180,000 for the tourists who had a great time. Excellent. Glad they enjoyed it. Glad we got paid for it. Alright, let's see what else we could do tourist-wise that we would like. Space camp still. Nope, we're good on that. The Northern Mountains. Not so fussed about that. I really don't like the ones that go to a specific place because I struggle. It tends to be quite difficult. Another tourist wants to go to space. Get them an orbital tour around Kerbal. That's easy, but not paid good. That's easy, but I don't know that the margins are as good as some of the ones we've had. But it might be worth taking just for the sake of getting the... We'll take that for the sake of building up those contracts. And we'll take this one as well. So we'll gather some science while we're doing that one. I think we could probably use some of the same craft and modify it to go a bit further. Maybe add an extra stage. Yeah, if we had an extra stage below it, maybe. Maybe even we could run our first cryogenic stage. We could place the Mastodon with one of the high efficiency cryo engines and beef up the power system so it can cool it a bit. Yeah, we'll go for that. There's 3. Right, so let's see what we've got. The Hecate, it's a bit small. Okay, the pepper on this looks like the right one. Can we attach stuff to the bottom of it? Yes, good, okay. Yeah, so this engine actually... Oh, okay, it's not actually the right size. This one actually has a extending nozzle, which some of them have. It's quite cool. Shrinks to fit in a smaller space when not needed. Yeah, we'll probably go for that one. Right, so 4,600. It's not tremendously more expensive. It is a bit, but not much. Liquid hydrogen and oxidizer, and it is very efficient. So 3,000. Actually, is that about the same? It's about the same, actually, I think, if anything. Do we have any lighter tanks? We do have some of the cryogenic tanks. Can we replace the tanks as well with the cryo tanks, which are lighter? Not as solid, but they are light. Yeah, less power needed to cool. Okay. Looks like about the same. Oh, 3,700. That might be better, actually. Actually, do we need that much? We could probably go smaller, if anything, couldn't we? 3,000. Yeah, that could be good. Like I say, we will beef up the power systems a little bit. Which, I mean, a few more batteries wouldn't hurt. Might do a little collar of a... Which they got? 25? Yeah. Probably not worth it for the drag. Might stick with that. Oh, unless we've got a cargo bay that's the right size. We've got a 2-meter cargo bay? We do, yeah. Got some batteries in here. It's basically a little open area with space for additional parts inside. There we go. And we'll stick a couple of some solar panels around there, maybe. We'll need a little bit of power for this one because you have to keep the cryogenic tanks cooled. Power, again, they will start to leak off fuel. I don't know if that's the best look, though. Whoop. There, and then... Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. Don't know how cheap this is going to be. This will be more for the contract side of things. They're unlocking more and later on, I think, than anything doing this one. Made the couplet. And then we'll have a more conventional stage. Or could we do a solid rocket? What's our biggest solid rocket booster? Still the Pollux. I guess it's good distance. Let's do 3 kickbacks, actually. That should do it. Or 4 kickbacks, I should say. Yeah, that'll do it. Nose cones on that. Brace them against the top of the rocket. Delta wings. We do have some slightly unusual craft in this playthrough, but some of these seem to have worked strangely enough, so... Right, so that should be Tourist 3. We will launch this one to quite a high altitude, because I have a feeling it's going to burn quite high on those Pollux boosters. Maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, we'll try launching to 200 kilometers. Oh, too heavy. How much by? 8 tons. Right. Yeah, if we knock them down a notch. There we go. 300, that should be enough to get out to the moon and back. It's probably overkill, if anything. We probably already have a rocket that can do this, but... Maybe one tourist. Oh, man. We probably do already have a rocket that could do this. This probably is inefficient. Tell you what. Let's save that design for now, and let's see what our... Do we have a decent 2-man rocket? One of the Mooners, maybe? Because I feel like that's overkill. We don't need that much rocket for just going to the moon and back. I think Mooner 4 was a lander, maybe Mooner 3? No. That was also a lander. Alright, we'll try. We'll go for Mooner 3. We built it just now, we might as well use it. At least it's a good test run for the cryogenic parts. I think we're all good. Crew, complement, add 1 tourist. You can go at the top. It has his own pod. Luxury Space tourism. We'll make about 60,000 off of this, so it's not too bad, and we might recover a bit of money. So again, we get to test the cryogenic engines out, see what sort of power we're looking at to cool them. At least when they're using their own specialised insulated tanks. We have already test run the liquid methane engines to quite good results after all, so we could potentially have got cheaper. It might be that we could have run a smaller engine on that stage, but we're still getting quite a good thrust to weight ratio on it, so I think it might be worth just trying. 200. Oh, current inflation. Well, set to 0 because it's so close to 0 anyway. Right. Engage, and 3, 2, 1, launch. Tourist 3 is go. Tourist 3 is wiggle. Yeah, turn down the gimbal limit and the wiggle stops. The cooling is active. So our electrical charge is draining. Keeping the tanks cooled, keeping fuel inside them. Not entirely sure these tanks should be exposed to the elements, but it seems to be working well enough at the moment. That sort of tank, it tends to be what's inside fuel tanks anyway. They usually have an aerodynamic shell on the outside. These are kept exposed to keep them light, I believe. I think the idea is you'd sort of send them up as refueling tanks in the hold of a cargo vessel, like a space shuttle, or an SSTO. Alright, hydrogen engine is kicked in. I can't remember the name. Ulysses. Ulysses. It looks cool. That's blue flame. We are still consuming power, I believe. Yeah, we're still slowly consuming power, so probably don't want to take too long on this mission. I thought MechJeb was going to deploy our solar panels, but I guess I'll do that for it. Get as much solar panel out there as you can. We need sunlight. Sun's above us. That's kind of good that we're going this way, though, because our ring of panels will get a bit more. Tilt that so we're getting good exposure from those two. Looks like we're pretty good on the electric charge now. It looks like it's about even. Or we're generating enough that's full anyway. There's our target for a flyby. And we only have to fly by on this one. We don't have to come back. Have we got an extra stage still? We have. We didn't even need that. We could have ditched that extra stage. Oh, there's a video finishing rendering. Yeah, we definitely overbuilt this. It's fine. It means we can go out there and have a look. And in case we need to do something awkward like orbit it. No, just have to get closer than 100,000. We'll try and get it within like 20. We'll try and get a good view. I suppose we might have to slow down after we leave the moon sphere of influence, so it might not be a bad thing that we've got a bit of extra. I like the detail in these engines. I know these are fictional ones, but they're really nicely made. At least I believe they're fictional ones anyway. Really nice model. I love this glow effect they added where as it's running for longer it heats up. It's like heating up in different rings depending on how thick it all is. It's lovely stuff to watch, or look at even. Well, the inside of it is just oh yeah, that. And I believe it's waterfall that changes the particle effects to change depending on how high up you are and everything. Those look pretty nice as well, honestly. But yes, we'll finish up this today's episode with with this mission, with this little flyby. It's about right timing-wise. We've apparently got some science. EVA report. No, thank you. I do not wish to go out into the void at this particular moment. Going out of the spacecraft while you're not accelerating is usually perfectly safe. Going out when you are is not. A good chance you'll just get sucked straight off and fall off into whatever. And if you've got any kind of decent rocket engine running, you're never going to catch back up again on your little jetpack. Right. Not return from a moon. Home and transfer to target. Great nerd. Looks good. Okay, yeah, maybe we did need the extra thing. Maybe we are about right fuel-wise, because this is taking a little bit to get us out there. And we are going to have to slow down afterwards. Apologies, my chair is creaky. Right. Going into warp. Let's just keep an eye on that power and fuel. Power goes down. Nope, we're okay. Looks like we've got enough battery. It was worth adding the batteries. We've got enough to... what do you call it? We've got enough to run the cooling overnight. Or while we're behind the planet. There's our batteries. All looking good. We will lose those, but the crew capsule system is proven. We don't really have a name for it, but our little crew capsule is a proven entity. We know that works. We can actually set the parachutes to open at a lower altitude as well, because we know it falls very slowly once they're all out. 500. 500. Oh, we can make them go out further, can we? Make it go out all the way. Cool, they'll actually sort of clear the way a little bit. Don't know what spread angle does on the top one though, so we can probably leave that. Right. We're set for an encounter. What do we have science-wise here? Yeah, we will take those two then. We do have one to gather science from around the moon, so we'll gather an EBA report once we get that far. Even though... Actually, we might get something from it if we do it when we're closer to the ship. So let's... Closer to the ship? Closer to the moon, even. Right, change periaps to... We're going to try and get it quite close. 20 kilometers. After 60 seconds. Yeah, so we will... Need to slow down early afterwards? What? No? Oh, I think at the moment we're going to... Okay, I think at the moment we're going to leave Kerbin, and then if we do this maneuver, we won't. Oh. Sometimes if MechDev's taken a moment to decide where it's trying to get to with the node, it'll sometimes fiddle around near the node, but not quite actually get to it. You can hit disable time warp, and it will suddenly go, oh, I'm in the right place, and it'll activate time warp. It's a weird little trick to unstick it sometimes. We'll usually find it eventually, but it can sometimes fiddle around for ages, like being like, I'm not quite there. It's like, but you are though. You are there. Right. On the map. If the alert doesn't come up. No, it did. Okay, cool. Is it a EVA? It is. EVA report. Observed observations. Well, very boring, but functional. Good. We have data, and we have done the flyby. They are both happy, so we just need to bring it back to Earth now. Bring it back to Kerbal. I always call it Earth. It's not Earth. We ain't on Earth. Okay, it's 309. We'll go down to about 30. 20-ish. 14, that'll do. Okay, if you could execute that next node. Oh, and we need to enable auto stage down to stage 2. So we're going to need a little bit of kick from the orbital maneuvering stage. But yes, I think because we'd have actually gained some delta V from not having the weight, we probably could have moved the solar panels onto maybe one of the other sections and just ditched this whole stage. And it still would have worked, but... Oh well, we know it's a proven thing. It gives us a little bit of leeway. We did overbuild this a bit, but we'll still get about 60,000 off this mission and a little bit of recovery funds. And again, it gives us the... it also gives us a reputation. I don't know when we get the Space Hotel contract. I don't know if there's something we have to do before we get that specific one, but... It is installed. We should get that one at some point. I believe we have to do an investment tour first. But I haven't seen that contract come up yet, which is kind of interesting. It usually comes out quite early. But you get one where they, the investors want to do a tour around the Space Center, and basically if you pick one of them, you get the hotel contract. If you pick the other one, you get the casino contract. Space Hotel being easy, Space Casino being hard. And we'll probably do the hotel. Okay. We'll do a warp to atmospheric entry, and then we'll burn full backwards. Full... can't even think of the word. Full retrograde, I guess. Should be landing in daytime, hopefully. Good eclipse, though. So we're doing a water landing at any rate. We could attempt to recover more of the craft by landing the whole thing, but I don't think that's going to work in this case because I think it's just going to burn up. We're coming down quite fast, even with a bit of fuel to burn. Yep, make the absorptive stage kicking in there. It will work when you're doing stuff manually as well. If you're still burning and it's the end of a stage, it will kick in the next one if it's an engine, or if it'll get to an engine. Alright, engine's getting spicy. Take us away, because we don't want to bonk into that on the way down. Or not bonk into it hard, anyway. There it goes. One of the panels is broken yet. Panels are breaking. The whole thing's probably going to break up shortly. So we're still going quite fast. We are decelerating faster, because we've got that very flat side, whereas that's tumbling and kind of rounded. Which is why, part of the reason pods are shaped like this, it's usually better actually to have a big flat side and bleed speed off than it is to be pointy and go through it, because you're still getting enough friction at the speed you travel at that stuff burns up. Or in other words, cumulative speed, too fast to live, as Scott Pilgrim once put it. That sounds like something's burning up. So Tourist 3, yeah, bits of debris all over the shop. Science available. Yes. Now is the perfect time to step out of the pod. I suppose we still haven't tested the crew's parachutes, but I think just for the sake of it, we'll stick to the pod's parachutes. On the grounds of we have adjusted these to work better, I think spread angles put them out further. I think they extend out a bit further when they deploy, but we'll see. Maybe don't even need the top one. We could maybe even just replace the top one with a lightweight nose cone. But it doesn't hurt to have the extra. Apart from budget a tiny bit, but parachutes are not particularly expensive when it comes to rockets. Well, not, you know, no more expensive than most of the other very expensive rocket parts anyway. In real life, I assume they are actually quite costly, but they won't be by any means the most expensive part. They'll just be some probably pretty tough, well-designed like fabrics. I actually don't know how much they have to do with parachutes for landing on other planets and things, or they have to make them out of particularly different materials to what you'd do on Earth. I suppose it, oh dear, big yawn. I suppose it depends on what atmosphere you're landing in. Right. We're going to be okay to point at 500. We should be. The Nereid had a bit of a dive last time, but I think we're... oh, look at that. Perfect. Look at that. I don't even have to time warp at all. What if we are? Gotta get a bit close. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that on land. If it was rough terrain but over water, that works perfectly fine. Yeah, I'd recover. Imagine it'd be fun to plant a flag out in the North Sea, or whatever that is. I don't think they'd be much to plant it in. Unless you can't plant a flag as floating a flag. And let's see what we got. Again, I suspect about net profit about 60,000. And some other small bits and pieces. 30 science? That's not bad actually. 33 science. A little bit of funds. Tourist level up. Yep. Oh, yes. Oh no, we did 2 contracts. We did the 110,000, so that was actually 50... no, 70,000, I think. And an extra 40,000. I forgot we had 2. I wasn't counting the rewards of that one. We're getting there. We need 169,000 to... Oh no, 1,690,000 to upgrade the science centre, and we're nearly there. We've got a science for the surface of Minmus. Plant a flag on Minmus. Silo Minmus. Rescue someone from the surface of Minmus. Hello. We could take 3 Minmus contracts. We could take 3 Minmus contracts at once and come back. We have got some more tourist contracts, I notice. Fly by the moon and Minmus. That's another one we could do. We're going to take, though, for now, science for the surface of Minmus, flag on Minmus, and rescue from the surface of Minmus. Now, I don't know what type of Kerbal Tambus is. Trouble with the EVA jetpack, so the rest of the crew forgot to wait to get into the capsule. Okay. Oh, left in orbit. It definitely says stranded on the surface of Minmus, so we'll assume that's right, and we'll go for that. Now we get quite a big advance, and we get a big completion. Even bigger completion, so... Excellent. We actually have enough already to upgrade, and we might do that because we're still going to be left with about 110,000 to build our next rocket, and that should be plenty. Because I believe we can reuse one of our previous ones. So, before we end for today, Advanced Unmanned Tech. It's not the best for parts out of all the options we could take, but again, rendezvous and docking autopilot, we will now be able to build space stations. So again, a few more antennas, some core buses. I'm sure they do a much larger core, the Hex 2, and the remote guidance unit, which is a much better profile core. It's a little round one you can attach parts to the top and bottom of. 80 science left, which couldn't really get as much. Those two, which don't give us anything. Actually, we don't even need to take those at all. Aviation, which would be not tremendously useful at the moment. Yeah, I think we're probably good for now. Science. So, we'll cut the episode there. Next episode will be the triple Minmus mission to gain, what was it? Science for the surface, plant a flag on the surface, and rescue Tambus. So we will land where Tambus is and pick her up, basically. Or him up, I'm not sure, but I think it's her. Right. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, everyone. As I always say at the end of the videos, I am a games dev as well as, or as I try to remember to say at the end of the videos, I am a games dev as well as a game reviewer and let's player. So if you want to help out the channel, as well as liking and subscribing and all that good stuff, check out the description. I've got 2 games that I've released. You might enjoy them. Right. See you guys next time. Goodbye.